The career profile that I chose to do was that of a marriage and family therapist in private practice. I hope it's okay, but I'm going to refer to some notes I have here throughout the presentation. Um, as I was doing my research, I did find a position as I was looking on the AAMFT website. I found a position with Swinton Counseling, and they're based in Utah. They've 6 different locations in northern Utah, one of which is close by where I live. And the owner of that organization, Swinton Counseling, is Dr. Jonathan Swinton, who's a PhD and a licensed marriage and family therapist. They're based in Salt Lake City and have other locations throughout Utah. The career contact that I have is my instructor from my class, and her name is Tammy Critchlow. The working environment at Swinton Counseling in particular, they specialize in providing relationship therapy and pornography treatment to individuals, couples, and groups. The work hours are fairly flexible. However, you would need to be willing to work 1 or 2 evenings a week or Saturdays. Typical stressors for this job. As I thought about it, I thought about couples that might come that are facing really difficult challenges. And I could see that as a therapist, there may be times where you're actually concerned for the well-being of a client. And perhaps even their safety. I thought something like that could weigh heavily on you, and you would be thinking about it and concerned about that. I also felt that another stressor would be, which I know happens sometimes, is that somebody might come to you for counseling, but they don't really want to be there. They're there because the court has mandated it, or maybe just to please a spouse or a parent. I thought that could be kind of challenging to work with someone who really doesn't actually want the help. A good therapist needs to really be able to demonstrate positive regard. They genuinely care and they're seeking to understand the client from the client's frame of reference, to have true empathy. So to do that, you really have to put yourself in the place of your client and try and understand them. And while doing that, you also then have to maintain a professional relationship with them. And I just felt that that is something you need to kind of probably keep in check. And one thing that I felt would be really helpful as a therapist dealing with helping people in these kind of very difficult situations would be to have a supervisor or a colleague or another professional that you can go to kind of talk about the difficult things that you're facing and trying to help people with, and to find support for yourself and just some guidance just to kind of help keep yourself mentally strong and healthy. Let's see, typical benefits. Well, in private practice, there generally aren't any benefits. However, somewhere like Swinton Counseling, somewhere where you're working in a group setting, there possibly could be benefits with that. Some of the common job tasks. Okay, there's so many, but I've chosen just a few more specific ones. Obviously, you're going to be needing to counsel with individuals, couples, groups on issues, things like unsatisfactory relationships, depression, grieving, divorce and separation, maybe even child rearing or home management, financial difficulties, pornography addiction. The list goes on and on. As part of that, you would need to be skilled at asking good questions that will help not just you, but also the clients understand their own feelings and behaviors. You would gather information about the clients. You do that using techniques like testing or interviewing, discussing, and of course observation, just kind of observing what you hear and see in your client. You would then evaluate and try to help resolve relationship problems. Another important one I felt was As part of your work with the client, you could also be determining whether that client would benefit from being referred to a specialist, such as psychiatry, for instance. As part of your counseling and working with your clients, you will be guiding them through transitional crises like divorce and even death. You would highlight problematic relational and behavioral patterns, and also helping the clients not just discover or see their problematic behavior or dysfunctional behavior even, but you would help them replace it, learn new skills, new ways of coping. Also, again, you would link clients with information and resources that will benefit them and their families. You'd need to maintain case files. I think that's really important. The position I found with Swinton Counselling also stated that you would need to be able to write short articles. Lastly, on my list, but I think it's probably the most important, is to have good interpersonal skills, such as empathy, patience, flexibility. These kind of characteristics I think are just essential, and you just have to have them if you're going to be successful in this field. The educational requirements, you absolutely have to have a master's degree or higher to be a marriage and family therapist. And most like groups and organizations would want you to be a licensed family therapist for your state. You would need to have a strong interest in working with families and groups, and be comfortable using word processing and have the ability to quickly learn any electronic health systems perhaps that different groups might use if you're in a group setting. The salary range for the position with Swinton, the starting salary was $40 per hour, but the experienced salary range went up to $70 an hour. Generally speaking, marriage and family therapists working in private practice earn an average of $48,000 a year. And then just the last couple of miscellaneous things I had was, this is a growing field because more and more people are turning to professionals for help in coping with difficult family situations and relationship problems. And lastly, many therapists in private practice are able to set their own hourly rates. So where there may not be many benefits available to you, you can compensate for that with the rate that you ask for. That's my presentation. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.